The men and women in Thurber's cartoons have been thoroughly analyzed by art critics, social commentators, and psychiatrists. We don't intend to get into any of that. We do like a comment by Dorothy Parker, who said that Thurber's characters looked like unbaked cookie dough. Keep that in mind as we give you cartoon captions by James Thurber.
So I said to the teller, "How can I be overdrawn when I have all these checks left?"
I never really rallied after the birth of my first child.
In first aid class today, we learned 11 different ways to poison people.
You may call it sleepwalking, but I say she's promiscuous.
So she says to me, why did we have to purchase Louisiana when we got all the other states for nothing?
I'm wearing gloves because I don't want to leave any fingerprints around.
What do you want me to do with your remains, George?
One martini is all right. 2 are too many, and 3 are not enough.
Well, if I called the wrong number, why did you answer the phone?
My wife wants to spend Halloween with her first husband.
You wait here, and I'll bring the etchings down.
My husband wanted to live in sin even after we were married.
It's a naive domestic burgundy without any breeding, but I think you'll be amused by its presumption.
If I told you a dream I had about you, Mr. Price, would you promise not to do anything about it? Unless you really want to.
Do you realize it took Paul Revere over 2 hours to rouse the widow Matthews that night?
Sometimes, my dear, the news from Washington forces me to believe that your mother and your brother Ed are in charge.
One more of these and I'll spill the beans about everybody here.
Every writer, Thurber said, is fascinated by the fable form. It is short, concise, and can say a great deal about human life. You may recognize some of the characters and situations in this collection of fables by James Thurber.
The Courtship of Arthur and Al by James Thurber. Once upon a time, there was a young beaver named Al.
And an older beaver named Arthur. They were both in love with a pretty little female.
But she looked with disfavor upon the young beaver suit because he was a harum-scarum and a ne'er-do-well. He'd never done a single gnaw of work in his life, for he preferred to eat and sleep and to play and swim lazily in the streams and play, "Now I'll chase you," with the girls.
The older beaver had never done anything but work from the time he got his first teeth. He had never played anything with anybody.
When the young beaver asked the female to marry him,
she said she wouldn't think of it unless he amounted to something. She reminded him that Arthur had built 32 dams and was working on 3 others, whereas he, Al, had never even made a breadboard or a pin tray in his life.
Al was very sorry, but he said he would never go to work just because a woman wanted him to.
Thereupon she offered to be a sister to him.
But he pointed out that he already had 17 sisters. So he went back to eating and sleeping and swimming in the streams and playing spider in the parlor with the girls.
The female married Arthur one day during the lunch hour. He could never get away from work for more than 1 hour at a time.
They had 7 children, and Arthur worked so hard that he wore his teeth down to the gum line.
His health broke in two before long, and he died without ever having had a vacation in his life.
The young beaver continued to eat and sleep in the streams and play unbutton your shoe with the girls. Well, he never got anywhere, but he had a long life and a wonderful time. Moral: it is better to have loafed and lost than never to have loafed at all.
The
Moth and the Star
by
James Thurber.
A young and impressionable moth once set his heart on a certain star. And he told his mother about this, and she counseled him to set his heart on a bridge lamp instead.
Stars aren't the thing to hang around. Lamps are the thing to hang around.
You get somewhere that way. You don't get anywhere chasing stars.
But the moth would not heed the word of either parent, and every evening at dusk when the star came out, he would start flying toward it. And every morning at dawn, he would crawl back home, worn out with his vain endeavor. One day his father said to him,
You haven't burned a wing in months, boy, and it looks to me as if you never will. All of your brothers have been badly burned flying around street lamps, and all of your sisters have been terribly singed flying around house lamps. Now come on, get out there and get yourself scorched.
The moth left his father's house, but he would not fly around the street lamps, and he would not fly around the house lamps. He went right on trying to reach that star,
which was 4 1/3 light years, or 25 trillion miles away.
He thought it was just caught in the top branches of an elm tree.
He never did reach the star, but he went right on trying, and night after night, when he was a very, very old moth, he began to think he really had reached the star, and he went around saying so. And this gave him a deep and lasting pleasure, and he lived to a great old age.
His parents and his brothers and his sisters had all been burned to death when they were quite young.
Moral:
Who flies afar from the sphere of our sorrow
is here today
and here tomorrow.
The Sheep in Wolf's Clothing by James Thurber.
Not very long ago, there were 2 sheep who put on wolves' clothing and went among the wolves as spies to see what was going on.
They arrived on a holiday when all the wolves were singing in the taverns and dancing in the streets. The first sheep said to her companion,
Wolves are just like us, for they gamble and frisk, and every day is a holiday in Wolfland. And she made some notes on a piece of paper,
which a spy should never do.
and she headed them by 24 hours in Wolfland, for she had decided not to be a spy any longer, but to write a book about Wolfland and also some articles for the sheep's home companion.
The other sheep guessed what she was planning to do, so she slipped away and began to write a book called My 10 Hours in Wolfland.
The first sheep suspected what was up when she found her friend had gone, so she wired a book to her publisher called My 5 Hours in Wolfland, and it was announced for publication first.
The other sheep immediately sold her manuscript to a newspaper syndicate for serialization.
Both sheep gave the same message to their fellows.
Wolves were just like sheep, for they gambled and frisked.
And every day was a holiday in Wolfland.
The citizens of Sheepland were convinced by all this, so they drew in their sentinels and let down their barriers.
When the wolves descended upon them one night, howling and slavering, the sheep were as easy to kill as flies on the window pane.
Moral: don't get it right.
Just get it written.